Hello Gemini, this is your reading for March 2024. And firstly, let's just look at your past weeks. This is where you're coming from. And for some of you, I see that you have an offer, an opportunity, something that will be very fulfilling for you and really nurture your emotional sides and fulfill you. But I see there's some resistance there. It's like you're pulling away a little bit. And I see, of course, here too, you have the card for choices and being blinded. She's blindfolded. She can't see what choice to make. But I see in this picture too, I feel like she's pulling away her hand. And I feel her smile is very stiff and awkward. So she's being polite about it. And, don't mind the genders. This is just symbolic. It can be male or female. It doesn't matter. So you're in a situation with somebody and I think they have offered you something and you're trying to be polite, but you seem kind of awkward or not too eager, and you try to signal that you're not that interested and you back away, you pull back. But it seems as this person just pulls you back. So it's like this tug of war, but it's not aggressive in a way. It's rather gentle, and under the table, it's like it's not spoken of. So if this is a contract or a relationship or whatever, if you're negotiating about a lease or something, I don't know what it is, but you're not too happy about it. Also, I get the sense that for some of you, you were promised something. You were promised something very beautiful and something that you were looking forward to, but I have the sense like, this isn't what you promised me. This is not what we talked about. And what you promised me, and I kind of feel a little bit upset. But this person or this situation doesn't seem to register that. And yeah, I really feel like first you're trying to pull back smoothly and gently and without making any fuss. But it seems as this person or situation is not letting you go that easy. And if it's a person, this person doesn't read the room. So you have to pull back really. I see you preparing to pull back. To really, get away from this. If it was a situation, maybe it was that your workplace promised you some type of salary, or if it's a relationship, maybe your partner was very charming in the beginning and spoke very highly of everything they would do for you and what kind of person they were. And when you got to know them better, you saw that, this isn't the person they pretended to be, and you try to pull back gently because you change your mind, because this is not what you signed up for. I feel after this happened and you pulled back, you isolated, and for a while there you were very hard. You had this thick skin and didn't want to let anybody in, didn't want to interact. And I feel for some of you, you are disappointed or just upset or angry because this was a loss of a dream or a promise. And of course, as it's a very chosen situation for you, because this person can just put down their swords and take away the blindfold and walk away, but I see that you're not interested in that. You don't want to. And for some of you, I feel frustration because you're hanging around in an echo chamber, and you have friends or family who only tells you what you want to hear and who aren't completely honest with you. And maybe you also feel it's a little bit on them too that you happened in this situation in the first place. And I know the swords are thoughts and ideas and all of that, but it just feels very much like you were, protecting your chest and your heart, and that you didn't want to give anybody your thoughts or ideas or inputs or anything in this period of time. You just want to keep to yourself, your thoughts to yourself, and yeah, you just needed some time to lick your wounds, I guess. Okay, so that's recent past, and let's see. Oh, wrong deck. There it is. And let's see how you are now these days. Let's see what's coming up for you. I kind of want to take that one, but I'll leave it for now. But if I need an extra, I'll take it. Oh my god. Oh, this is so nice. Look at that. Look at that. First of all, look here. This is the same person. These are both you. You're very vulnerable, so you're making yourself very hard and very tough, but it is to protect yourself, right? And you're not in a good place mentally. But here you have just one sword you have chosen, because not making a choice is also a choice. So isolating yourself and just not going back and not going forward in your life is kind of a limbo place to be. But you have made a choice and you're stepping ahead in your life. But also, and this is just good, because it's so awful to be indecisive and unsure and confused and all of that. It's just a very bad feeling. But I also feel for many of you, I don't know what this was, that you were promised something and you didn't get what you were promised, but you get justice. Maybe it's not physical justice. That's not even a term. I mean, if somebody scammed you of something, or you hired somebody to do a job and they didn't do it, or whatever, maybe you don't get the money back, but in some way you feel like you're even, or you feel like retributed. That's a hard word. And I also see for many of you, you get a little bit of resurrection or retribution, but maybe not 100%, but it feels good. Like it's acknowledged that this was not good and it's their bad, and the blame is directed towards them. And just in a way, you feel like this is okay. You're good with that. And I also, for some of you, I have this feeling like you're like, but wait, there's more. You thought this was bad. Let me show you how bad it really was. And because I feel behind these drapes, I feel you have a whole setup of maybe of evidence, or you have stalked them and collected, their statements or something. It's like you have, I see this, how they have on criminal shows, when they have this chart with the red dots, and they take the yarn and they point it in every direction to connect the dots. I feel you have one of these behind there. So maybe when you're starting to get some justice, you're like, it feels so good to be understood, so you're just like, oh, but this isn't it, listen, it's also this and this. And because it's just so good for you to finally be believed or understood or validated. But for others, you get justice just because you did this, you did this work and you wouldn't let it go. So maybe when you isolated and kept yourself, you were working on this because you didn't want to let them get away. I feel like you could slice anyone with that sword anytime, and it's razor sharp. It's like samurai sword sharp. And I think because this situation made you so furious. And it can also be like you have a conflict in your family, or somebody has been telling lies about you. Maybe you have toxic parents or a sibling. It can be anything, but this, I feel this, it's almost like I get a chest ache. It feels so infuriating, this injustice, and you're not gonna let it go, and you're not gonna let them have the last say or anything, because you think it's so unspeakable what they did or the situation, that you're here with your sword, and if anybody tries to make excuses or budge, you're gonna just chop them in half. You're just like, you're done. And I see this balance for justice. You're daring anyone to put even a grain on their side of the scale. Just a grain of corn, you're daring them because you're furious. And I think, no, nobody is gonna go up against you in this. And you're believed. If people didn't believe you, or if maybe you reported something to the police and they didn't believe you, you're being validated and acknowledged, and your experience is being validated and acknowledged, and it's just very good to see. Yeah, oh, this is nice. And once this is happening, you can put this behind you and have this new fresh start. For some of you also, this was a sexual assault. And yeah, I'm sorry. But now it feels like you can start fresh. And I feel like you buried that part of your life because you've been retributed. Oh, that's a very difficult word. So you've made peace with that past, and yeah. And you're moved on to more bustling and busy things again after this period in your life. Okay, so what's coming up in the near future? Let's see. Oh, I hate getting a lot of cards. It's so confusing. I'll just put them there. This fell first. For many of you, I see that this thing that happened to you, this situation or relationship or whatever this thing was, you are speaking about it publicly, or tutoring others, or you do some motivational speaking maybe. Some of you will do that, and I also see that for some of you it's a topic that creates a lot of anger amongst people, and you get a little bit resistance. Not everybody agrees. But I also see that it creates healing for others in your situation. Oh, it's very beautiful. And that people start to heal and mend their wounds because of you going as an example and speaking about your experience. And some of you will even be rewarded for it, like you will have some acknowledgement or something like that. Okay, I'll start with these. I feel for many of you, your crowd, the people you surround yourself with, they might see you as a very hard person and maybe a cold person. But that's not it at all. And you have so many dreams and hopes and thoughts. But maybe sometimes you repress them because it's not practical, or you have learned from childhood that it's futile to dream or to try to make something better. So maybe you have suppressed that side of yourself a little bit. But I also see that many of you are afraid of making a fool out of yourselves, or looking stupid, or tripping up in public, or amongst, if you have a toxic family, maybe at work, if you are afraid of not being good enough or perfect. And this fear stiffens you up a little bit because you're afraid to make a move in case you trip. Yeah. And I see also some of you are, when you're talking and interacting to people, you don't really say what your opinion is. You just reflect their personality back to them. And you just, I don't know what the word for that is, when you just agree with everything somebody says. You're just mirroring their personality. And that too might be because it hasn't been safe for you to be this dreamer and to be an individual and to be yourself, to stand out. So for you, maybe it has been the safest choice to just be a reflection of everybody else. For some of you, I see somebody's waiting for you. That you're going to see them, you're going to visit them, or they might be visiting you. It can be a love interest, but I also feel like a fraternal feeling, like it's a brother or a sibling, or just, a family member. But I think it's someone you have a kinship with. And for some of you, this person is just impulsive and just goes on a train or whatever and comes to see you. I hear the bearer of bad news, and I also feel this person might bring you some bad news. And maybe that's also why they come unannounced and on impulse. It's not planned. But this is absurd. For some of you also, it's sad news or bad news, or it's a bad instance, but you don't necessarily think it's a bad thing that it happened to this person. Because I feel also this person holding up the chalice is also a toast. Like, oh, finally a chapter is over. A chapter is closed. Something happened. It wasn't of your volition or this person's volition, but it was just life and something. Oh, this is mean, but I just gotta say what I hear, and it is it's like the trash took itself out. I don't know what that means, but yeah, that's what I hear. I'm a little bit curious. I just want to see a little bit more about this news or what's coming in for you. Wait. I think also it's something that's happening very fast, and people are trying to contain it or fix it. It's a very hectic energy, and I see someone is losing something fast. Of course, this isn't for everybody because that wouldn't be logic, but for some it can be a fire. It's very hectic. People are running around trying to put it out. For others, I'm not sure. It's just very hectic and very chaotic, and something is happening very fast. And it's not happening to you or your person here, but it's happening to somebody, and they're not able to salvage it or contain it. So I just want to ask a little bit about what this situation is, this bad news. This is depression or loss. This is a person sitting by the grave. It's melancholy, no, melancholy, and yeah, grieving a loss. It doesn't mean that you grieve loss, but it's just symbolism of having a loss. Donna maritata. I think that is yeah, that must be married woman. So maybe this is a divorce. Somebody gets divorced because she's a married woman, and here she is very sad and grieving a loss. So maybe somebody you know are getting divorced. There is a breakup. Something that it's a bad thing, yes, but it might also, you might not think it's too bad. Maybe this sorts something out for you without you having to try to fix anything. Okay, and I'm just going to take one of these cards, the Enchanted Map, and I'm going to pick a card, and we'll see if we can confirm this or if there is some more clarification for us for this situation and this month. Or it's, 14 days, I'll make a new spread, so. I hear something goes up in smoke. And this is such a weird reading. Something goes up in smoke, and you're watching something go up in smoke, but I also feel that you lit the lighter. So you're not sad, it's your doing in some way, but I feel not everybody knows this necessarily. So for some of you, you have pulled some strings. And others, from this situation, you gain something. I think it's material, like you gain a small lump of cash, some trinkets, maybe some gold trinkets or something. I just see that you get a small fortune, like a little something. It's not much, but yeah, you get it. And I also see for some of you, you're asking, can I take this? Is this okay that this can be for me? So you're asking, and it is. You can take this, or it doesn't matter. You can take it. It's okay. let me read the card because it's actually a pretty beautiful card. Oh, here it is. Wishing well. Desire is the sacred impulse of life. Feel it, but let go of all attachment to ownership. Desire is the most important impulse for creating a life. Now you're seeing the relationship between desire and inspiration, and sensing that moment of truth when you feel inception of new life. It is an aha moment when everything makes sense. Perhaps you recognize a soulmate or are conceiving a baby or an idea. The Wishing Well card awakens you to the presence of unseen forces that enable new beginnings. Divine intelligence activates the field of possibilities where new life is co-created in a magical way. Neither you nor anyone else can know how or why this happens. It just does. To that end, you can't control the process of growth. Rather, you must step aside and be a channel for higher forces and relinquish any attachment to how this new creation should appear or when. Form your intention and take action by dropping the coin into the wishing well. Then trust spirit and prepare to be amazed. It's a little bit like something happens and it's not of your volition, but you kind of think it's a good thing that this happened because you gain something from it. And maybe if it's some of the people that has been making trouble for you, maybe if it's a court case, maybe you get a little lump of money or something. It's not a lot, but it's like it's just good because you're acknowledged and your pain is acknowledged and the injustice is just acknowledged. So it's a very good thing. And yeah, but in all, it looks like something shitty happened and now you're starting to get resurrection and you know, the scales of justice are starting to get even and you're getting what's due to you. And then something happens to someone you know, or maybe it's a business or something, and you favor from it somehow. But I also feel a little bit that you enjoy it also. Some of you, of course, not everybody. And for some of you, this incident that happens when your friend comes to see you or you come to see your friend, it can also be a divorce of some kind for some people you know, and you gossip a little bit about this and you enjoy it a little bit. I don't know why, but you know, you do. So yeah, that was it. Hope I see you next time. And yeah, so if you want to hear another reading, come back in 14 days. Please subscribe. Bye.